Episode 2 of Bayou Beat Podcast. In the house. Aquí está los meros meros del Sabanero.
Huepa.
Aquí el Pibas Maribas.
El Calvillo.
Y el Calvillo. Ya. Ahorita estamos platicando porque lo vamos a hacer en español en inglés. I think we're going to do it in English.
Bilingüe.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I was thinking about that before, but I think it's better we do it in English.
Yeah.
Because we're promoting for the show at Carbach 2 weeks. So it's September 16th?
September 16th.
September 16th at Carbach Brewery. So
it's going to be, celebrating the Mexican independence. And it's also going to be Easy Band.
Okay, Easy Band.
Easy Band, great guy, man, super talented. I don't know if you guys seen his videos. You should look him up.
I'm going to look him up.
Shout out to Easy Band.
All right, awesome. Yeah, Easy Band. Yeah, I have to look him up. I saw that you were going to play with them. I thought about it. I was like, I'll look him up. But yeah, definitely that's going to be a good show. I live right by Carbach, so stop by there. Man, I mean, I've been to so many of you guys' shows. That's my shit, dude. I love dancing music, cumbia, but I was talking to Carrillo because I've known you and, some of the other guys from 11 years now.
Yeah.
Goes way back.
Yeah, man. I mean, we go back to like at least 2011. I want to say 2012.
Yeah, that's when the band started, when you started playing together.
Yeah, it was right after we got out of high school. We graduated in 2010.
Okay.
And after that, we started playing, me and Ramiro, He was around too, I mean.
Nah, but it's because they live in the north side. Okay. And I live in the south side by myself. And
What part of town?
I live right there by 45 South in Edgebrook.
Edgebrook, okay.
Right there by Chilos. Everybody knows Chilos.
Okay. So that's like going towards Emiliano's para allá, right? Oh, that's
Yeah, a little bit more.
Emiliano's,
but there's the other one on Broadway.
On Broadway, yeah, okay, yeah.
So it's like passing Broadway, like 2-3 more exits.
Okay, yeah. But y'all are from the north side.
Yeah, me and Ramiro, we grew up in the Greenspoint area.
Oh, both of y'all did?
Yeah.
Greenspoint, okay.
Well, I mean, when I moved here from Monterrey, we moved to Fallbrook, like around veterans in Fallbrook and all that. And then eventually we moved to Greenspoint, but he was living, I want to say more like the Alden area. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it was generally like Greenspoint. I mean, Greenspoint's kind of there's parts of Greenspoint that you don't even know is Greenspoint, like Airline, you know what I'm saying? Like right in between Fallbrook and Airline, that's considered Greenspoint.
Okay, Fallbrook and Airline. Fallbrook, you talking about the neighborhood Fallbrook? Like
no, it's Alden Bender.
Alden Bender. Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, and it's funny because Greenspoint's considered Houston, like HPD, and then there's a piece south where it's not Houston anymore, it's Harris County, and then it's Houston again.
So Greenspoint's like right on the city limits.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we grew up over there too. Actually, my brother went to Salmon's, right there by Fallbrook.
I remember when you were staying there too. We used to go hang out and jam and.
Yeah, I did live out there for a while, but growing up, I grew up over on that side of town, and but I was telling Calvillo a minute ago we were talking. It's interesting because we're in 2023, 10 years ago, in 2013 was our first time I played that show at Fitzgerald's with Los Carnales and El Batallón.
Yeah.
10 years, bro.
Yeah.
And
it doesn't feel like it.
It doesn't. That's why I was like tripping out. I was like, whoa. But at the same time, that's when y'all first started kind of expanding.
Yeah.
And started playing into different areas and different markets.
Yeah. Well, there's always been a community of cumbia bands. Like since we were in high school, there was a Relicario Vallenato. Shout out to Ricky Curas. Ahí sí se me olvidó. Pero there was always a big.
Descendencia, México-Colombia.
You had Gavilanes de la Costa.
El Jonathan Ibarra.
No, los Gavilanes de la Cumbia, I'm sorry.
Yeah, los Gavilanes de la Cumbia, I think they're from Denver Harbor, right?
Yeah, they go back to like at least early 2000s.
Yeah, they're like, they're like seniors. Like
so that's
OGs.
So me and Ramiro, like we met in high school, Ramiro, you know, we grew up playing music. You know, we met in high school, like, you know, I don't know where. I was like, oh, you're from Monterrey, and he was like, yeah, and he's like cumbia, and I had some bongos. He had his accordion, so we'll practice, and we'll go to like the soccer varsity games of high school, and we'll play cumbias like in las gradas, you know.
What?
Yeah, it was pretty fun, man.
At Aldine High School?
Yeah, we'll go to Emo Campbell.
Yeah.
You know, like W.W. Thorne Stadium and.
Oh, there. So instead of having like the marching band.
Like, yeah. That's how we started, and he used to do that too.
So I went, like, I live in the South Side, right? So I went to South Houston High School, and I started playing when I was like 17. I went to work for like 2 weeks. I got my first check. I bought an accordion on eBay and I quit.
Just go home and practice.
Yeah, and then cause like they're more expensive now, but back then they were like $300, $350.
Yeah, back then you know.
And it seems like it was cheap back then, but then, you know, like everything goes up. Yeah. Right now they're like 600.
I remember my first accordion that I bought it at the Fiesta on Airline in 45.
Nah.
Yeah, I swear. Like there was like little boots that people used to have like outside of the Fiesta.
Oh, I thought you bought it inside.
No, outside. I bought it for, I shit you not, I think it was like either 80 or $100.
It was new?
Yeah, it was brand new, but it was like it was one of those like yeah.
Okay.
And
yeah,
then
I bought it too.
And then like years later, I seen them at Traders Village and they were like $300, and it was the same accordion, man.
Wow.
Yeah, and I lost that accordion. Don't even ask me what happened to it. Okay.
It hurts when you lose an instrument like that.
I've lost so many instruments.
Like, lost them, right?
Like cajas, you know, like congas, guacharacas. Man, guacharacas don't even.
They're like those sticks, right?
Yeah, those things I used to make my own guacharacas out of bamboo.
Like PVC pipe, you know?
Yeah, like PVC pipe, but I would prefer making them out of bamboo. But like, they were like, I used to make them out of like hollow bamboo.
Okay.
And they break easily. You're supposed to make them out of like, you know,
more
like,
solid.
Yeah, solid bamboo. That way you can carve it all out, and it's like a solid piece, you know.
Dude, one thing I know about you from way back of these conversations we had, you have like such a deep love for that music, you know. I mean, I can already imagine you sitting there with a piece of bamboo and you're cutting each notch, and you're like, you're listening to cumbia music. You're like, I love this shit, man. You're gonna be an amazing instrument. You know, we're gonna have a good time, you know. And you're like making it with your own hands and hours.
And then he buys the painting like for the lights and shit. Right?
So whenever we like, you know, the guacharaca, you know, the name of the instrument comes from a bird from Colombia. And it makes a similar sound to what the instrument does, right? So you're playing the guacharaca, right? And sometimes those pick breaks, the pick that you use, you know, or you lose it or whatever. So sometimes we'll have a show and we'll have to go to a beauty supply, and then, you know,
looking for the long ones, right, with the metal.
Yeah, and you ask the guy there, like, hey, you know, where's the pick at, and this and that, where they at, and they'll be like, what do you want to pick for? Like, what do you want it for? But
and they're cold.
Yeah, those things were like disposable, man. Like, because they were like, you know, after playing so much, the little
like they will wear out.
The little things will fall out because they're not glued right, you know.
Yeah, we testing them, putting them to the test.
We used to do that shit.
Yeah.
Nah, but back then when I was like in high school, like, I was playing, right, and then I used to play every day, like, get out from school, go to my house. Practice like 2 hours every day, like just like play every day, right? But I didn't work no more, so it was funny because I used to be in soccer class, but like I hate it. Like I mean I love playing, but I hate like running and stuff. So like they were like, nah, just you be on the like in the bench or whatever. I was like, yeah, it's all good. And then it'd be like the day of the game, and be like, hey bro, I'm just gonna be in the bleachers. Now I'll come with the accordion, and my friend will bring like a guiro, like the wooden one, like the one they use for norteño cumbia.
Right.
And then they'll be like strict, and they'll be like, no, you can't bring instruments. So I have like some friends on the other side, like, hey, I'm gonna throw you the accordion.
Damn.
And I'll throw the accordion over the gate and the guiro and the drums. and then they put it on the bleachers, and I'll start playing. I'll start playing cumbias, like the cumbias that I learned in that time. And it was funny because, you know, like when you go to soccer games or football games, like the other team, the other school's on the other side, right? So I'll be playing, and you could see the people from the other side come to our side, and they just like start jamming, like
start dancing and stuff.
Yeah, it was
How
cool.
messed up is it that they wouldn't let you bring instruments in?
I don't know.
I mean, it's just kind of like, what, like, why
I guess
not?
because like you
They don't get it.
You cost too much, like.
Oh, like you're gonna like
I
ride
guess
up the
they
crowd?
want like a peaceful game or something.
You're gonna start a riot or some shit, a mosh pit.
I don't know, maybe like
have to
Bulls
come-
on parade, kind of like.
Yeah, but it's okay. So, all right. So y'all call it the Huacharaca?
Yeah.
There's a bunch of different names for it.
Yeah, it's cause like in Colombia it's called huacharaca.
Okay.
But then they have in like Mexico
The Guido.
Yeah.
it looks like a fish.
Right.
It's a
Yeah.
Guido.
Okay.
But
I think like universally it's just a Guido or
Yeah.
a scratch instrument.
But that the name from Colombia.
yeah.
That's the
And
one.
honestly, like the huacharaca was actually the first instrument that I learned, like properly. You know, like that made me learn. You know, that basically ingrained in me the rhythm of cumbia. Like it just puts it on there because it's like, you know, it's 3 beats. It's like you know,
Okay.
and it's just like once you get that down, I mean everything else is
It
easier.
teaches you how to keep a beat, how to
Yeah.
stay on time.
Yeah.
You know, and then once you know how to stay on time, then you can do other stuff.
Right.
But you find your rhythm.
He's one of like the best percussionists. I've-
Chill.
he's good. Like he play like caja, he play tumba, he play that. Like I love how he plays that instrument. It
Right.
sounds nice.
Alegre.
But
And that's why it's so
really-
interesting that you met Ramiro, because you're a percussionist and he's a accordion player,
Right.
and now you have a band.
Yeah.
All you need is now is a Weedo, and you're good to go.
And his thing was always the accordion, and I actually wanted to play accordion, you know, before I met him, and you know, my mom would take me to go see the accordions, and they were like, I don't know, $800, $900, $1,000 or some shit. And, oh well, maybe I'll buy you some bongos or some shit.
Nah, but you always want the good one, right? Like,
Right, of course.
Like whenever
Like when Parker Music was around, shout out to Parker Music. That place was there for like, I don't know how long. You remember?
Sam Ash now. It's Sam
Sam
Ash,
Ash.
Wait,
yeah,
no,
but it used to be
yeah.
Parker Music, yeah. I remember Parker.
Parker
what's
Music.
it before?
Parker Music.
Parker.
No, before Hamas.
It's Sam
Sam
Ash
Ash.
now.
It's
Now
Sam
it's Sam Ash.
Hermes, se llama Hermes.
No.
In between for a little bit?
Yeah,
Hermes?
it was Hermes. Sí,
Oh,
la-
you're
la-
right.
It was
You're right.
Parker, you know, Hermes, you know,
West,
Sam Ash.
West Road.
You're right.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I bought a badass speaker system, man.
For real?
Yeah.
It was
Yeah,
cheap.
yeah.
But
Well, I have a similar story too. I think I said it on the last podcast, but I wanted to play the trumpet, and my parents were like, they're too expensive. And they're like, what's the cheapest instrument? And they're like, well, if he plays percussion, you just need some drumsticks. Oh, we can afford some drumsticks. So I became a percussionist, you know? But like, same thing you're saying, once you learn the rhythm and you learn how to keep a rhythm,
Yeah.
then, you know.
I was
and
actually a French horn player.
you play French horn?
Yeah, in school, like it was funny because you know how they had like band
Right.
class. I'm like, hey, I want to play the trumpet, and the guy's like, no, you're gonna play the French horn. I'm like, all right.
That's funny. That's just
But I liked it because I had a lot of solo parts. I had a lot of melody parts, and then I learned like, I guess, whenever I started playing accordion, I kind of like, I transferred it. Like whatever I learned from French horn, I transferred to the accordion.
yeah.
So do you still know how to play French?
Yeah, I could play French horn,
The
trumpet,
fuck?
flugelhorn, bass. Like
Chill out.
Can you play a trombone?
no, but
They're similar, right?
the mouthpiece is similar, but I never tried playing it. But on the clef, like a trombone is on the bass clef,
Okay.
and then trumpet and everything else is on the treble. But I'm sure I could learn it.
Yeah.
But I like it.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't know you could play that.
Yeah, I've been wanting to play like the baritone, but I never.
But you got the basis for music.
Yeah.
And how to play chords
yeah,
and how to.
I know how to read and.
French horn's a beautiful instrument.
Yeah, it
man.
sounds
You get a
nice.
great tone out of a
Like
French horn.
whenever I started band, like I was like, man, I want to do trumpet, but then I started getting into it. Like, man, dude, I loved it. Like, like the sound that it has. Like,
yeah, it's a very unique, beautiful sound, man. Very mellow and warm.
Yeah.
Great sound. Yeah.
Well, the French horn.
The French horn.
Yeah.
And that was a marching band too.
Yeah, I was in band all the way up until marching band, and then they offered jazz band, and so I went over to jazz band.
Nice.
Well, they had bass guitar and jazz band, so I was like, oh, beautiful, and and I love jazz, and then you have the horns in there too, and and if you look at like some ska bands, they're sort of like a jazz band,
Yeah.
but just a different
But they
kind of
have
rhythm.
like the nice
The horns.
saxophone sound.
Yeah, and all
Like that tenor sax.
Yeah.
It's my favorite.
Yeah. Well, okay. So part of what I wanted to do with the podcast too, because y'all have the show coming up at Carbach, and so it's interesting because quick little detour right here. Y'all played a show at Ojimon, and so at Ojimon I went with some friends, and it tripped me out because we were there, standing there. You know how like people are dancing, some people are standing. We're standing, and then people were dancing. There was like, I would say about 6 to 8 white people, like in their 20s, and they were dancing cumbia, but they were dancing it right. They were. I have my. We were there, and my friend he caught a video of it, and I was bothering him all day today. But find that video, send it to me.
The Colombian way, or.
But you know, the thing is
they were on beat.
They were on beat, but they were all. They were on beat and they were dancing, bro.
They were dancing. I'll tell you what. I mean, cumbia has been popular for a long time. It's just never been popular as we see it here in the U.S. You know, but I mean, you know, since I want to say maybe since the 50s or the 60s, you know, gaiteros de San Jacinto used to travel worldwide, and you know, they would have like tours in Europe, and what's the name of the she's a choreographer, you know, and I forgot the name of her, but she would tour around with Gaiteros San Jacinto. Actually, Andres Landero was gonna tour with them.
Okay.
And he didn't get to go because his mom didn't let him. I think he was too young. But cumbia has always been, I want to say, it's always been there. You know what I'm saying? Like, but you know, I want to say like in U.S. You know, in the U.S. market, it hasn't been like a popular thing. Selena Quintanilla definitely has helped around with that, you know.
Yeah, but okay, but here's the thing though. Selena, she played more like pop cumbia. She played more like norteño type cumbia. And what y'all do is una cumbia colombiana,
right,
which is vallenato.
Yes.
And then what happened is that happened at Ojiman. You know, I seen these people dancing, and I was talking to Daniel, you know, Barney, and he goes, "It's Axelrad's fault." You know, they have these bands coming up there playing these cumbias and exposing these young people to it. Yeah. They fall in love with it. Yeah. They go home, they get on YouTube, they figure out how to dance, and then, you know, and
you're right. I mean, shout out to Axelrod, shout out to Mario, Wonky Power, you know.
Ojiman too.
You know, and shout out to Alex, you know, at Ojiman.
Yeah, heck yeah.
These guys are great, man. We need to set up another gig over there at Ojiman, for sure.
Well, now y'all are doing Carbach. You know, and so and that's, you know, okay. So what I'm trying to get to right here is that this is a different audience, and so I would consider this guy to be like a historian when it comes to cumbia. Real
it's like the encyclopedia.
Oh man!
You know what? If he'd be like teaching me less, like, hey, you show me a vine, like, hey, this guy, this is his name and the year, and I'm like, what?
yeah. Alejandro Duran right there. Oh man, OG right there.
He was just telling me a story about him, about that he was in this festival and that he messed up.
Oh yeah.
And
you know, we were talking about how, you know, sometimes when we're up on stage, you know, we make mistakes, you know. I mess up sometimes on the drums. Sometimes he'll fuck up, you know. and he didn't know this, and I thought he knew, but I was like, man, Alejo Duran, you know, what he did was he was playing a Festival Vallenato in Tarima on stage, and he was about to start the song, and he messed up like maybe after 10 seconds of the song, and he just said, "Oh, I disqualified myself." In front of the whole crowd, man.
Wow.
And he just left out. Everybody was like, "What?"
And I
don't want to disrespect the art form.
Man.
You know,
Yeah,
you know,
And that Alejo Duran he's the first vallenato king ever. You know, when the first festival started, he's the one that won the first place.
Wow.
You know, and after that, I mean, the guy's a legend. So,
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, all right. Let's go back again. One step back, because I already knew that once we get into that, you know. But yeah. So okay. So the very, very roots of what makes a vallenato is you have the güiro, which we're talking about.
Yes, that's pretty much
The güiro. Now the güiro
basic
comes
thing.
from the indigenous people.
right.
That's an indigenous instrument. So you have the indigenous people of Colombia. They have the güiro already within them. Then the second instrument you have is the tambor. The tambor, the drum, that came from African
Yes,
influences.
that's
So
right.
you have a lot of Africans that were in Colombia.
Yes.
So you have this mix of music. Now you have the güiro, you have the tambor. Now the original people way back, the indigenous people, they had flutes, as they would play with flutes. And now there's a story, it's a legend that I heard, and what it was is that I think that they robbed some Europeans or something, and and when they robbed them, they found an accordion, but they didn't know how to play it. So then what they did is that they took it home, and then they just started to create their own music with it, which created this unique vallenato
Yeah.
style. So now you have an accordion, which is a European, Spanish, German instrument. Then you have the drum, which is African, and then you have the güiro, which is native indigenous people, and then
So-
boom, you have this
So
new.
like vallenato is a very commercial term, you know. Vallenato is a term that was put there because it means, you know, born out of the valley. Es el valle,
El Valle.
el valle Valledupar, you know,
Mhm.
which is a town in el departamento de Cesar, you know. So that basically coins that genre specifically to that city, you know. And people think that all the vallenato and everything was created, you know, there, you know. But in reality, like accordion music, because it's not called, I won't call it vallenato and I won't call it cumbia, because it's accordion music from Colombia. You know, that's really what it is. That was created in you know, in what it is, what the Rio Magdalena is, el departamento Fundación Rio Magdalena. A lot of people say that it was even up in the Guajira and basically all that area. And the legend goes that, you know, a ship wrecked near the coast of Colombia and it had a bunch of accordions in it. And that's how they, that's you know.
See, that's another legend. See, there's legends.
Yeah, there's legends about it.
Right, legends of how did these people get a hold of an accordion first.
And accordion music did not become popular in Colombia till like maybe late 1800s to early 1900s, you know. It was like around that era that accordion got introduced. But before that, you know, vallenato was like, you know, guacharaca, and
Yeah.
it was canto, you know, like singing, you know.
So
More than anything, vallenato is the singing. And like I said, I'm calling it vallenato, but it's really not vallenato music. It's música colombiana.
well, and that's the thing. Like they didn't call it vallenato.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Okay, so let me go off into this other thing, and then you correct me if I'm wrong. But the way that I kind of understand it is that the original music, it was the music of the people, and so the people are people that didn't really know how to read, didn't really know how to write. They didn't have mass communication, so their songs told their stories. Their songs had their history books in them. You know, their stories told them the stories of life.
Right.
And so the original music that came out, it was el folclórico, el folklore, and that's what it was, folklore,
Yeah,
the stories of the folk.
It's folk music.
Yes,
It's
and,
folk-
and
yeah.
so that was the original. It kind of reminds me of like really early Bob Marley stuff. I had a friend of mine. He said, one thing about Bob Marley is that he would always put Jesus or like God or Jah into his music, and there was a lot of people that through the music got to know what spirituality is, or what and then also there was a lot of he would put like some of the political stuff in his music to try to don't ever trust a politician and this kind of stuff. And so the people are listening to the music and finding stuff because maybe they they don't know how to read it. The music informs the people. Yeah. So from my understanding, that was the original purpose of the music and folklore.
Yes. And absolutely right on all that.
Yeah.
And, they would travel from town to town, playing accordion, and sometimes not even with a full conjunto. It would just be accordion. The guy in the accordion on top of the donkey, just going around town, being a rock star, going around every other town in Colombia, and just telling the news.
Wow.
In song version.
Yeah.
And that's a juglar.
Oh, okay.
That's what they call that. Alejo Duran, he was a juglar. Alejo Duran had like 82 children.
Okay, I did a little bit of studying about that guy. That guy was wild, man.
Yeah, man.
Wow. How many children?
Like 82 children.
Yeah, well, like 20-something wives. I was just...
I was there. I mean,
but on his donkey, playing the accordion, going to town.
No, me and Pios were just talking about that at his house. Like, there's this song called Indio Mapuche. And then it's from this guy named...
That's Calixto Ochoa.
Calixto Ochoa, right? And then it talks about... The song just talks about, like, some guy. He's like an Indian guy.
He's talking about an indigenous guy. Member of a tribe called Mapuche, which is from the Amazons. And it's a beautiful song.
And it talks about, like...
So empowering.
Like, what there's, like the stuff that's in this jungle. He has
a
tattoo.
He has it on vinyl, like there.
And then we're just talking about like how did he come up with this? Like, I'm sure he met someone. Like, he had to like they don't come out of nowhere. The songs, like
he's telling what he sees.
And I'm like, it could have been like a family member. Like, come on, it's.
Right.
It's like the songs of back then. It told stories of real life. Like, it's not like right now you like many times you just invent whatever and.
I mean, everything now is created like to be a commercial.
Yeah, back then like all the songs, even the vallenato songs, the love songs, like. They hit.
There was this one artist. You're gonna know what his name is, but I can't remember what his name is. But he was blind, and he wrote this song, and in the song he's describing a river.
Leandro Diaz.
I knew you were gonna know his name.
Matilde Lina, you talking about Matilde?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So this guy, he's writing this beautiful poetic music about the river and the birds singing and these beautiful women, and like you hear the song and it's like you could see it. But the guy was blind.
Yeah.
And he couldn't see it. But yet in his music, he's conveying this.
He saw it in his mind.
Yes. Bro, like, and that's such a classic song that has passed all the time. He's like one of the OGs, along.
Oh, yeah. Leandro Diaz is an OG of the, vallenato music.
And he also made like a lot of songs. Like.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He made a lot of, he was a composer, and a lot like Alfredo Gutierrez recorded a lot of his songs. And Alfredo Gutierrez was the one that made Matilda Lina famous, and it's a beautiful song. That's the one that you're talking about.
Yeah. I was hearing that earlier. I was just
there's actually a documentary about that.
Send me the link, bro.
Send it to you.
Yeah, nice. I have to watch that.
And I mean, I already said that you're not really supposed to call it vallenato music, but it's just a term that's. People use it for that kind of music, Everybody's gonna know it by that. It's a popular term now. It's not gonna go away. I don't think so.
And the thing about that term is that it's evolved. So, okay, so we're at the folklorico.
Because, well, I'm sorry. But, like, it's like, André Landero was a sabanero, from La Sabana. And he played paseos. He played merengue, he played puya, son, Like he played all the los cuatro aires, the 4 rhythms. Of
So
vallenato.
let's break that one down right quick. So the thing is, within vallenato, or within, let's just say, Colombian music, there's these different styles of playing the
Rhythms.
Rhythms.
Yeah.
So you have some that are, I guess, slower, some that are
Yeah.
faster.
Right.
Right.
So like like paseo is like son is the slowest.
Son, yeah,
was
which is
created-
where the name of your band comes from, Son Bayou.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, it's like son. We named this song because it's kind of like a sonido, like a sound.
Okay.
But son is the slowest genre of vallenato, and it was created by Pachorrada. Pachorrada. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the documentary on Pachorrada on YouTube. Is pretty awesome.
You think you can look that up, Pachorrada? Yeah, on YouTube. And so he has the slowest type of. I mean, he plays
Like
paseo.
that rhythm.
He plays paseo
So
music.
I want to say
Song.
like he died like around 2000, 2003.
Okay.
He
He
lived
was-
like almost like 100,
He was
right?
super old, and he was like like one of the oldest juglares to come from that era.
He was like older
Yeah.
than Alejo. Like,
Older than Alejo, and Andre Landero actually bought for his first accordion from Pachorrada.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like
Pachorrada.
Pachorrada's like Pachorrada.
it's
is-
like it's
He doesn't have a last name?
it's the human Wikipedia.
Yeah. He doesn't have a last name?
Rada.
Rada is-
Oh, okay.
Pacho es Francisco, so
Oh, Pancho Rada.
Pacho.
Pacho.
Yeah.
Okay, like, I got you.
Yeah.
Instead without the N. Yeah.
Yes, that's it. That's the one.
Let's see, La Lira?
So there's that's a song. That's one of his most famous songs. That's actually him right there.
Yeah, you could put some volume on it.
And in that picture, that's a rare picture. Yes.
It's like a paseo.
No, I want to say that's more like a pasaje.
Go back to the, so you can pick out a particular song.
That album, man. If anybody has that vinyl, that's a jewel.
Hey, let me
That
know.
thing right there.
I'll buy it.
Yeah. If anybody has it, let us
And
know.
that guy, he never recorded cumbia, but apparently there is some
What's the name of the song?
underground cumbia by Pachorrada.
¿Cómo se llama el song?
Una que sea un paseo
¿Un paseo de quién?
de Pachorrada.
One song.
There's one called Mi Sombra,
Mi sombra.
Pachorrada. That's actually a song, and it's a really good song. And someone else sings the song, but he's the one playing the accordion. It's on an album.
So what's the difference between a paseo and a son?
The difference is on the accordion.
It's the difference is on the bass.
Okay, the
So-
bass on the accordion.
That's
The
right.
bass on the accordion and the rhythm, and also the percussion.
There you go.
No,
Okay.
also
That's the
A
one.
ver, vamos a ver. Esa mera.
Pino
Oh,
Manco.
okay.
Pino Manco, yes. Ten,
Okay, paseo como paso, como que está pasando.
Well, that's a song.
That's
That's a
song.
song.
Oh, this is a song.
That's a
Okay, that's why it's different.
it's like 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1.
They got the cowboy right there.
Hey,
Block.
man.
That's a beautiful song, man. Like
All right,
that song. Andre Landero plays the song as well.
Y la dinastía rara. Okay, y estos son son juglares.
So yes,
Juglar.
that's Pachorrada, the one that's playing the accordion on this song. He's a
Juglar.
man. He's a juglar. Like he's like
It's like a legend.
yeah, man. Like
Like if you find a vinyl from him, it's like
Yeah.
it's gonna be expensive.
and his sons went out to become legends on their own as well. Beto Rada became Rey Vallenato,
Wow.
and he also recorded cumbias, which is they're pretty awesome. And he also got to go to Monterrey and play cumbias. And I've seen videos. I mean, I've been following cumbia since Facebook was barely starting. Since MySpace and shit. And I will see videos. Of like Beto Rada playing in Monterrey and playing a badass cumbia, like
Yeah.
something that I've never seen. And usually whenever they send someone from Colombia like that, they only bring the accordion player they have all the musicians in Monterrey already. Like, there's so much talent, you know.
Right.
Like Monterrey is such a city of cumbiamberos and vallenatos, man. Like,
Okay, so all right, so that was the original, está folklore y los juglares y tiene los diferentes aires que están tocando. Entonces, de mi entendimiento, or from my understanding of the way that this works, is that then there was another wave of musicians that came out, but it was no longer just folklore. These were people that were talking about drinking, they were talking about women. De ahí salió la... De ahí vino la parranda. That's where the parranda
What's that
came
guy's
from.
name? De Osama Bin Laden.
Lucho Cobo. Man, shout out to Lucho Cobo.
Yeah.
He's out there, man.
I don't know if I can say this, but
Probably drinking and partying right now on the
there's a
parranda.
song that guy Lucho Cobo is called. The song's called Osama Bin Laden.
It's a badass song. I mean, it's not that it's badass, but
like
it's just like it's crazy. Cause
like first, I love the accordion part. It's nice.
Yeah, look at that, Osama Bin Laden.
Lucho Cobo, like,
Lucho Cobo.
and then but it talks about.
I think this song like
It just it's crazy. Like the people that never heard it, they're like, what? Like, but it's like, it's pretty much like they're talking shit about Osama Bin Laden. Like,
Okay.
yeah.
but they also talk.
Is it?
Yeah, that one. Like, bro. But what I like about it is
The accordion.
bro.
It's
It's also like that sabanero.
That's Lucho Cobo. And Horacio Mora is the one singing. His voice is so close to Enrique Diaz's voice. And a lot of people think that's Enrique Diaz.
I thought it was Enrique Diaz.
Yeah.
No, it was.
De la misma vela.
The same voice. Bro, come on. That's Enrique Diaz. Torre Gemela, la mamá mamua.
Solo le diste un empujoncito y pintimbán.
Se cayó ese caserío.
You drop the towers.
Yeah.
Osama Bin Laden, you drop the
But then
towers.
after that, he talks about like, hey, when the U.S. finds you, like,
Yeah, fuck you up.
yeah,
So that song came out. I'm guessing between.
Had to be
Yes.
after 2011.
yeah, but
Yeah, I mean September
And-
11.
Right.
but it's like it's crazy.
So creative.
Yeah, like they
Right.
talk about like stuff.
So
it's like
You
it's
can
like a
say,
corrido.
you can say that
right,
song. You can
right.
say that song is basically what a juglar.
Right.
do, you
It's like
know what I'm saying?
he would come out to a town and be like, "Oh, Salva," and then everybody's like, "Oh, okay, now I know what's going on."
It's like in Mexican music, like it's like Los Invasores. Like
Right.
you seen the
Yeah.
videos, like they come on caballo, they go to another pueblo, and
Right.
they sing about the villains.
What's
in the
happening?
towns.
They're letting you know what's going
Yeah,
on.
it's the same thing
Yeah.
with Sabanero, like
Man, okay, yeah, and that's kind of what I got from it.
yeah.
There in the folklore, and so that's following the same kind of idea that we're gonna let you know what's happening, como un corrido, you know, where it's telling you a story.
Yeah, it's a story
Yeah.
that happened in real life, and like it's like
Well, and but humans have always been like that since the beginning of time. There was no writing, there was no books. The only way people knew stuff is because I would tell you, and then you would tell somebody else, or my parents told me, and then their grandparents told them, and I'm gonna tell my kids, and you pass it on, through words, and so here you're passing it on through music, and I'm sure that's happened since the beginning of time
and
too.
I'm sure with music, like people like
Yeah.
get it faster.
So like
No
yeah,
sense,
like
yeah.
our goal, I guess, as musicians and artists, is to do that. But we use the inspiration that we like, like cumbia. And we want.
It's like what I like about Son Bayou, that about us. Like not even Son Bayou, like just me, Piwas, and Ramiro, and everybody. That we try to bring everybody the cumbia that no one hears. Like the cumbia that you're not gonna find nowhere. Like
The deep cuts.
unless that we give you a CD or a memory, you're gonna find it. But
Right.
like even at our shows, we play like the stuff that we like, but then also we play like the commercial stuff, so you won't be like lost all the time. Like you'll
Right.
be like, oh, I never heard this. and then you'll be like, oh, I heard this one.
Yeah,
like,
but then there'll be some people in the audience that are like, oh, that one right there, you know.
Or there'll be like people like us. They'll be like, that they like cumbia, and they'll be like, hey, what's the name of that song?
Are you a gatekeeper when it comes to that? Like, are you, like, I mean, because, like, I don't want to say that I'm a gatekeeper, but
like that, I don't want to like
you like
tell him. Or?
I mean, like, especially like, I know Ramiro's not here, but that guy, you know, at first he was a gatekeeper. Like, he would like. It's not about being a gatekeeper, but it's about like letting the other person find it out on their own. You know, if they're really that interested in the music, they have all the tools necessary to be able to find that music on their own as well.
I see what you're saying.
Nah.
Like you're not. It's like you're holding on to these jewels, and then you're like, okay. I mean, I could just give you all of the knowledge, but at the same time, it's like.
And
sometimes
But I'm a hypocrite because I always like to. Like,
if somebody asks you, you're gonna tell them.
Whenever I meet someone that me cae bien, like, right, like, we get along good and we start talking about music, and I'm like, okay, this guy maybe he actually likes it, you know, and then we start talking about like where we're from and stuff like that. Like, we start talking about music, and I'll be like, hey, you know what? There's this song, look it up. Or maybe I have like a USB, and I've gave him some USBs and Ramiro, and because I go to Monterrey a lot, like I go a lot, like I probably spend like half the
every other month
there, but
and then you get new stuff over there. You're listening to other
not
stuff.
New stuff, but or sometimes new stuff.
Yeah, we get around other stuff.
I'll just buy it, like I'll buy, and then I'll hear like, oh, I never heard this one, and I'll put it in my computer first, and I'll be like, hey, you can have it, like. Or like my sister had a baby shower this past weekend, and I had a USB that I had bought over there. Cause I went like 2 weeks ago, and I didn't want to use my data on my phone, cause I was gonna travel to another state. So I went to La Independencia, like a barrio over there in Monterrey, nothing but cumbia. I went to go buy a USB, and I just sticked it in the car. So I didn't want to.
Yeah.
So I came back. I put it in my computer, and I had it in my pocket. I was gonna go play that day I was gonna go help some other friends, and I was like, oh, I'll just give it to one of my friends. But I ended up going to that baby shower first, and there was a DJ there, and I was like, okay, what does a DJ do? He looks up music, like he has to have like the new music for everybody to dance. So I'm like, okay, this guy,
he
likes music, right? So I'm like, you know what? I went up to him. I was like, hey, here, I have this USB. Like, you can have it. And he was like, he probably thought that I was like, I don't know, like, that I want to, like, show off or something. Like, nah, bro, like, I'm a musician. Like, here, you can have it. I know you're a DJ. Like, I know people mix things up right now. Like, here, like, find out. Like, experiment. Like,
that's awesome.
Like, I like to, like, guide people,
sure.
But there's also.
I mean, that's good.
That's good. There's also people that they're like, no.
But
that's I think like, I balance out too.
You know, it's like when you give somebody a flyer in the street and they just grab it and throw it away. It could be the same thing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, you don't know if that guy's gonna be like, oh, I'm actually gonna look into the USB.
What if he throws it away and someone picks it up?
Hopefully. Hey, that'd be crazy, right? Like, they'll pick it up, they'll put it on the computer, and they're just gonna see all these like big ass files of computers. Like, they'll be like, wow, okay, you're in for a treat, right?
Hey, that would be cool, like, if we go, like, to Europe or something, like,
just
drop them everywhere.
USB drives.
You know what?
European vallenato and shit.
You know what we could do? I would like to do this for the people that like to follow us and people like cumbia. Maybe one day we can drop a USB somewhere here around town and just take a picture where it's at and see if y'all find it. Why not?
You know what though? What's funny is that if somebody did that, you would be the one to be out there like, I gotta find this. Where is it at?
Like hashtag or something.
Well, maybe not me because I'm gonna be the one doing it, but I'm gonna be there to catch the person that finds it.
Yeah, they're gonna get a prize. Like, yeah, you really love
I'll
it.
go pick it up.
Man, okay, so I know. Okay, so did anybody in your family play music?
So, not in my mom and dad are not musicians. My mom is a origami teacher from Monterrey. But as far as music goes, apparently my dad said that my great grandfather used to play accordion back in El Rancho. My dad is from General Terán,
Okay.
Nuevo León. So that's what he said. I mean, he was drunk.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, that's cool.
So where did you pick it up if nobody in your family played music? Just
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, on my side,
Just came to me.
my grandfather played guitar and my dad plays guitar, but he just plays like whatever. But I want to like kind of tell my little story
Dale.
about how I like cumbia, right? So, like since I was little, my parents took me to Monterrey, right? And then on the whole trip, it was like 10 to 8 hour drive. My dad used to put these CDs, right? CDs or cassettes, like it was nothing but Tropa, nothing but Aniceto Molina, Sonora Dinamita. So I kind of like, when I was little, I didn't really pay attention to it, but then I started getting bigger, and then I was already used to it, right? I was like, whatever. But back in, I don't remember what year, but I was like 16, 17. I was when cumbia was like, I'll say 2010, 11. That was when, like,
It was hitting hard.
yeah, it was like, well, it always hit hard in Monterrey, but there was this place in Guadalupe. There used to be this, like this big hall. It was called La Fe Music Hall, this big club. And one of my friends, he was like, hey, what are you doing? I was like, I had barely got there. I'm like, nothing. They're like, hey, let's go. And not me, like, you know, when you're young, you're like, hey, whatever, let's go. So I took off. We took like 3 metro buses. We walked. It was far. Like, it was far from where I lived. And we got there. I walked in. La Decisión. That was the first time I ever been to así un baile. Un baile. So it was La Decisión Vallenata, like a vallenato band. Super Grupo Colombia. It was like they're from the F and then they play
That's badass.
and Alpha y Omega y estaba el Combo Colombia. It was
Combo Colombia, I mean, you know, they were legendary. They are a legendary band from Monterrey.
They were hitting hard.
They were so popular, man.
But
it was like how many members?
Oh, like 15. But it was like trumpets, trombone, baritone, accordion.
Tragically all got murdered, man.
Yeah, but it was like in the narco stuff back then. But after that gig that I went, it was badass. I had so much fun. And
I can't believe you got to see Como Colombia.
Yeah, no, I saw 'em a lot of times. But I was there, and then I told you I was in band, so I was already playing French horn, trumpet. I was in marching band. And that day, I was just seeing, like, I like the sound, right? So whenever I came back to Houston, I'm like, man, do I want to play the accordion? So that's when I told you that
you got a job.
I got a job at there was this restaurant that had just opened up right there by Rice University. And one of my friends got me in there, and then we were just making burgers for 2 weeks. I got my first check. I quit. Well, actually, I bought the accordion on eBay. I let the accordion get to my house. Then I quit. Then I started playing every day.
2 hours every day.
2 hours every day after school. And I guess, like, because I was already hearing cumbia since, like, when I was, like, 13. But from Monterrey. And the little mercados, like the little flea markets that they have, like they had people selling CDs, and well, back then it was just CDs. Remember they had the CDs, the MP3s and stuff. They had like
the USB drives.
songs. No, they didn't have USBs yet.
Okay.
Like it was just CDs.
Right.
And then it was just like rebajadas and.
Collections.
I liked it. I don't know why, but I liked it, and I started whatever I heard on the CD, I put it on the accordion. And I guess my guess is because I already knew band and stuff, like the sound, it was easy. Like I would play Super Grupo Colombia songs, and I'd be like, man, this is easy. Like, so like the first when it was like 6 months later, that's when I met Danny, the guy from Descendencia Vallenata.
Shout out to Danny Blanco.
Yeah, Danny Blanco.
Danny Blanco.
From Houston.
Danny
Yeah,
Blanco
he's
is
from Denver Harbor.
an official member of Son Bayou as well, so he be playing with us whenever we
Hey,
need.
man,
What instrument does he play?
helping hand.
He played everything.
Everything.
Like,
He
he
plays
comes from a musician.
guacharaca,
Yeah.
accordion, bass.
He used to play at Emiliano's.
He has his
Yeah.
own. He has his own little band as well, man. Like
Yeah.
just like us.
And
guys great.
yeah, like he's been like I could say that Danny Blanco has been my teacher.
Yeah.
Like maybe
Confirmed.
he never taught me like, hey, play this. No, what he would do, he'd be like, he would play it, and I want to look, he would turn away.
He was a gatekeeper.
Yeah,
There you go.
but
There you go.
whenever I would play, he'd be like, he'll go like this. No, he'd be like, I was playing it wrong. And then he kind of taught me,
So
hey, you play it on one row, you play the bass like this, but I'm not gonna teach
So
you the
just
song.
by nodding and
Yeah, and then I'll be like later on, be like, I'll play it again and be like,
And it felt good.
yeah,
You're like, yeah,
I got it. Like, and then later on, like a couple years later, I'll tell him like, hey, can you help me out in this one? I can't get it. Like, yeah, it goes.
Because he saw you were serious.
Yeah,
he saw that you
he'd
were
be
down.
like, he was like, it's kind of like this. It started like this. So I'll be like, okay, I got, like, I already knew, like, okay.
Just
I
that little thing that you
I
needed.
just needed like the beginning, and then
yeah.
I would get the rest. Like, but
That's good to have somebody like that
Yeah.
knows all their stuff and that you can look up to and kind of gets you on the way.
yeah. So like right now, like we're like, well, I've been knowing them for like 10 years already, or 11 years. So like, if we don't have nothing, like he'll be like, hey, you want to work? Like, I got a gig. Like, yeah, I'll go. Like, I help him out like percussion or whatever. Like, he's cool. Like,
Yeah.
or like when we don't have someone, or like, you know,
right.
people are busy sometimes. We're like, hey, Danny, can you help me out? Like, yeah, I'll go. So it's like,
Yeah.
he's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Man, it's just his family, man. We're all in the same family, and we all love to play cumbia. That's what we like.
So it's like a pool of musicians.
Yeah.
And then de repente agarras acá o de allá, but everybody knows the
Yeah.
songs.
Yeah.
Everybody's down.
Right.
It's like,
Yeah,
yeah.
and sometimes we have, maybe sometimes, you know how we all have like things to do, or sometimes like whenever a gig comes up, like right now it's like we have time, September 16, like
Yeah.
Daya Fanta, like
2
like
weeks.
2 weeks,
2, 3 weeks.
where it's like, okay, yeah, we put it on the calendar, but sometimes it's like a thing that like someone wants something that same day.
Yeah, last minute.
And I'm like, okay, I know that he can't, so I'll call Danny, I'll call some other people, like shout out to Neto Maya.
Neto,
Yeah,
man.
Neto Maya.
Maya.
Neto Maya he's actually too an official member of Son Bayou.
There you go.
But,
Some Bayou,
like,
Neto Maya.
Nastia Maya, eh.
Nastia Maya, man, he's dead.
That dude was badass, man.
His dad, I have the honor of actually getting to hang out with his dad.
Yeah, but you had a picture with him, right?
Yeah.
That was his dad that you had the picture?
That's me and Ramiro on that picture right there. That day actually we played at Diamante Negro, and
Right.
and
It was right there on I-10 and Sheldon.
Yeah, that picture.
yeah, it's the
I
one.
sent it to you
The
earlier.
one that's wearing the red tie on.
He has a red tie.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
we have like those gigs that come up out of nowhere, and
Okay, so they came to play in Houston, right? Is that it?
well, Neto, like whenever.
Yeah, there you go. That's
Yeah,
him.
that's it.
Yeah,
So, yeah, that's-
I never talked to him in person.
Man, he
but I
had
did
style,
see him.
man. He had
He,
style.
he was at one time. I don't know if you know Javier Lopez and Los Vallenatos and Celso, but
Yeah.
at
He's the
one-
OG from
at
Monterrey.
one time,
Oh man,
he was like
Celso Piña level, man.
no,
Yeah,
at
yeah,
one
yeah.
time he was better than Celso Piña.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
have stories from
Los Monstros de la-
I've been hanging out with people from like Independencia.
Monstros, shout out to
Monterrey.
Monstros de la Cumbia.
También.
Chino.
El Chino.
Yeah, and I've been hanging out with people that like Depe y todo, and like they be telling me like, yeah, one time he was bigger than everybody else. Like
Las fiestas grandes que se hacían allá.
en
¿verdad?
Monterrey, yeah.
En Monterrey, yeah.
Yeah.
Block parties,
parties on
everybody.
the street and the parties in the club, like
And you know when we met Neto Maya, that's whenever we were barely starting to meet the whole community of cumbia in Houston, and he would always tell us like, man, like Like, man, yo soy Neto Maya, mi papá es el Toro Maya del Grupo Maya.
You're like, nah.
And I'm
Say swear to God. Swear to God.
he would carry a piece of thing, like a piece of newspaper, like, and he had his picture with him right there and everything. Like, I swear, no, but.
Sí, porque si no me creen, you know, you have to have evidence.
Tell them about like how you found cumbia and then Juanito.
Oh man, so when me and Ramiro were already playing in high school and all of that, like we would go to Celso Piña concerts, right? So we'll go to like Escapade when he played in Escapade. I think that was like one of the first shows we went to. There you go. And then that one was at
Yeah, look how young y'all, man. How young were you right there,
Well,
man?
look at Ramiro. Like, I was probably like,
you got the X on your hand.
I was like 10 years old in that.
I was like 18, 19 maybe. 18, 16 maybe.
Wait, how old are you right now?
I'm 31. About to be 32 in a week.
Oh, I was like
There you go.
2 years younger.
Yeah.
Bro, yeah, he's so young, man.
That jacket that he's wearing, that's a El Portal.
El Portal Disco.
El Portal de la Fantasía Disco jacket.
Wow.
That's a badass jacket.
Dang, rest in peace,
Yeah, man.
Es eso.
Man.
Dude, I got to see him a few times.
Only
and
saw him once.
Yeah. Dude, there's one time I saw him, he showed up in Houston, it was like a last minute show. Y venía casi con una barba, se puso una barba así, like, you know, like when he was later in life. Y luego dice, venimos y empezó a contar todos los lugares. Dude, he was like touring the world. You know what I'm saying? Like, el vallenato se hizo global, you know. And,
yeah.
And especially cuando, como Cumbia sobre el Río was such a big hit. It's just, boom, exploding. Yeah, con Control Machete, yeah.
He was, man, he played cumbia, man, and he loved it, and he was successful at it.
Yeah.
And that's awesome, man. He was always, since we started playing, and since we started going to his shows and all, he was always a big influence in what we wanted to do.
He kept it like that old school type of style.
Not only that, but Celso Piña is like so humble.
Yeah.
And when we got to hang out with him and his family,
cool.
his brothers, man, we actually got to open up for Celso Piña when we already had a band. Later on, after we started with Cumbia Sabanera, and with Reino Sabanero as well. We well, the first one was with Cumbia Sabanera, and then the other one was with Reino Sabanero. But yeah, like, man, like, it was an honor to be able to open up for Celso Piña.
Heck yeah, it's like a legend, you know, and
yeah,
you get to and hang out and talk to him and everything. That's and yeah,
man, it was awesome, man.
Well, like a little for me, the way I fell in love with cumbia, right? So I have an older sister. My sister, she's like 5-6 years older than me. So, you know, whenever I was like 12, she was like 17 and 19. So what happened is that she wanted to go out, and she said, I want to go over here. She told my parents would be like, you can go, but you got to take David. So I wore, you know, the chicle, you know, I'm that gum stuck under her shoe, and like, let's go, you know, I'd have to, you know, chaperone or whatever and all that. So I would go, and then there'd be dances. And so it'd be all her friends, and it'd be these guys, and they're all dancing, and I'd just sit there, and I'd be so bored. But I remember, man, I'll never forget this. This changed my life. There was this one guy, and he came from Venezuela, but he knew how to dance. And so the thing about it was that it wasn't like he was like a good-looking dude or nothing, but he could dance. All the girls wanted to dance with him, and they would line up, like, you know, because he knew how to dance. And there would be a party. You know, is Christian gonna go be there? Is Christian going? If he's going, I'll go. If not, I'm not. And I mean, and then of course, he was also real cool and everything. But I mean, and I was like, I gotta learn how to dance. I gotta learn how to dance. And so the thing is, you know, my sister being older than me, she would be like, we would practice. And she, you know, and then she would go to Reynosa, iba al discos allá, y agarraba pasos. She'd get different dance steps from over there, and come back and all of that. Yeah, exactly. The vueltas from back in the 90s, and then the Tejano and the Norteños and all of that, you know. And so that's the thing with dancing. There's with cumbia, there's the dancing, and then when there's dancing, you know, there's girls. Girls love to dance, you know. And so then you got the party going, and then everybody's dancing. So you start getting hot. you gotta drink something, so you start drinking.
Hey,
You know what I'm saying?
but you don't get drunk because you're sweating it out.
You're sweating it out, you know. Yeah, I mean it's a party music.
You know,
It's party music.
You know what's party music to me? Like when I listen to a Enrique Diaz song. There's nothing more.
Have you ever heard Enrique Diaz?
Yeah, you have to put some Enrique Diaz on.
But what
La plata no vale nada. Or la caja negra. I mean,
okay, so this is that other kind of music that we're talking about, which is the drinking party music.
Oh man, like this shit right here.
This shit right here.
It's just like, dude,
This shit right here.
his voice.
Yeah.
Like,
His voice,
he's
and
like
then-
one of a kind.
And then what he talks about in the song.
And then
It's about drinking, enjoying your life. Ooh.
And then the accordion part, like,
That's a merengue.
he has that vinyl,
Okay.
dude.
That's a merengue. That's a merengue right there. I have the vinyl. I think I have it right
And
there.
then there's this,
Yep.
there's
That's
this
it.
little saying that he says.
He was Juglar also?
He's original juglar as well.
Okay, Juglar, yeah.
He never won a Rey Vallenato, but when he will compete, the town of Bayou will carry him around the park.
Oh man, they would show up for
They
it.
would like carry him like in their shoulders.
It would be like the,
Like four
Like a
times,
hero.
like 4 times around the plaza, you know.
it would be like the poor person, like, oh, Enrique just came, bro. Like,
Oh man.
But, or like, ¿cuál es el hombre que trabaja en
La caja negra.
La caja negra,
¿Qué
yeah.
fue la caja negra?
La
de
Caja
Enrique
Negra is
Diaz?
a composition by oh man, I forget the guy's name, but he comes out in the documentary, Pachorrada documentary.
But he, man, dude, like, he's like the another like corrido guy, like. So he'll say whatever he wants in the song.
Like these songs are like, they just make you want to drink. Like, honestly, like.
And then especially when you see
Yeah, you got a video of it? Let's see this real quick.
Enrique Diaz.
Wait. Turn up a little
Oh
bit.
man.
I love how he plays with
And we never got to see him. We never got to go to Colombia and actually meet the guy. And
El hombre que
it
trabaja
would have
y
been great.
déjenlo gozar la vida. Y que eso es lo que te lleva. Si tarde o temprano muere. El hombre que trabaja y bebe. Déjenlo gozar la vida. Y que eso es lo que te lleva. Si tarde o temprano muere. Ay, después de la caja negra, compadre. Lo que nada se lleve. Después de la caja negra, compadre. Lo que nada se lleve.
It's pretty much saying the
You work,
the man who works and lives and drinks, let him
enjoy
live
life.
Yeah.
Because after you
when
die,
you go to work, you deserve a drink, because after all, you're gonna freaking
just gonna go
die.
in the black box and
In the
that's
black
it.
box, so you're not gonna take nothing with you.
Yeah.
Oh man.
It's like it's that song from Ramon Ayala, El Puño de Tierra, pretty much.
Yeah, exactly.
Acá Colombia, acá.
Right, exactly.
Like,
yeah.
You know, this kind of music, it's a lot like the rebel blues player attitude. You know what I'm saying? Like, people could definitely relate to that. That stuff is like Enrique Diaz, man. Like that guy was. You guys should check out his interview. There's an interview on YouTube that he has, and the guy is like.
Which was the one that's like, mátelo.
He's like.
The
si,
guy.
si el hombre no trabaja y no está haciendo nada, mátenlo. ¿Por qué?
Wow.
No, he's saying.
So if a man doesn't work,
No.
he's not doing anything, kill him.
No, he
Yeah,
says
basically. Yeah.
if the man doesn't work and he's drinking, kill him. Like put him in jail or whatever. Like,
Right. But the man that does work,
yeah, let him do whatever he wants.
you know, go out and
Yeah.
enjoy your life. But you work, do something, be
Yeah,
of
yeah.
service.
Basically, what he's saying
Yeah.
is to be part of this
Part of
community.
society.
part
Yeah.
of society. Yeah,
Hey,
exactly.
you work,
Carry your own weight.
do whatever you want.
Yeah, man.
You work, you get your first paycheck, you buy an accordion, and you quit.
Te compras un accordion y una caguama y
Just play.
Yeah.
Play music.
But then you're also playing for the people,
Yeah.
and you're doing something. You're not just sitting, wasting your time.
Hey, you know, actually, whenever I started playing, I met Chamba,
Yeah.
and I recorded a
You
song
told me.
with him.
Yeah, you told me about that.
Yeah.
Shout out to
That was-
Yochamba.
that was
Shout out
like-
to Kofi Guzman.
That was
Coffee
when
was
Gio
mine.
Chamba like was really starting too. Like, hey,
I want to get him in here
Chamba,
one day, man. He has a whole different thing going on with the
And
cumbia.
his parents,
Yeah, man.
his parents live like 5 minutes from my house. I don't know if he still lives there, but
No, Yochamba is actually over there in Colorado. Yeah, he.
I didn't know it.
My
It's been so long.
my
Yeah,
sister.
make a song about it. Yo Chamba está en Colorado.
Yochamba in Colorado. That should be a badass cumbia, right?
There you go.
Hey,
Hey, Gio Chamba will make you a cumbia for the first
So
stuff that we recorded.
you get on a donkey and go to the towns and let everybody know
yeah.
Yo Chamba está en
Me va a
Colorado.
enseñar el burro pichón.
I think that as cumbia artists, out of H-Town, like, man, we should all be together, and that's awesome, man. Like that, there's so much cumbia and coming up and all that, and that's great. Like,
Yeah, the culture.
right, hell yeah, man.
And then also it's being embraced by the rest of Houston, which is one of the reasons I wanted to do this podcast, which is one of the things I was bringing up also. Okay, so this is a story from what I've heard, so about 10 years ago, my cousin, Bofo, he used to go, he knew y'all or something. I'm not sure how the story goes,
Yeah.
but y'all were playing at an airline in La Pulga.
Right.
And so my cousin, he knew Felipe. So he tells Felipe, y'all got to go check these guys out. And so he took him to La Pulga.
Right.
And then he checked y'all out. Well, Felipe had a show coming up at Fitzgerald's. And then E.B. El Batallón played at that show 2013. And he invited y'all to open up,
Right.
at Fitzgerald's. And so,
Man.
yeah, right, bro. It's like crazy. But the thing is, from there, you're playing Fitzgerald's, you're playing a venue, you're getting in front of different people, and then as the years have gone by, now you're playing at Axelrad, you're playing at
Yes,
Carbach,
man.
You
You know what?
Original, yeah.
Shout out to Tiburon, Nestor Aguilar, and shout out to Felipe Galvan, man.
Felipe
And
Galvan.
shout out to Xavier Valderas too.
Yeah, El Bofo, my
Yeah,
cousin.
man. Like,
Hey,
that's where we started.
También
He-
es con este. En Fifth
So he knew. So Xavier Valderas knew another person that we were associated with. Was it Julie?
Ayuli?
I believe so, but he knew her, and that's how we got to do all that. But man, yeah, that's Felipe he went to the Pulga and he seen his play, and after that he was like, yeah, man, I want you guys to play at this venue. And
Hey, but Felipe is cool.
Hey, Gabriel, look this up real quick. It's look up El Batallón 2013 Fitzgerald's. I had watched it earlier. They don't have video of y'all playing, but there's like some video of the show, and I mean you could just see how freaking crunk it was. The energy, man, that thing was just going wild, yeah, that was, to me, I was like, wow, that's so awesome, because then y'all get to open that show, y'all get to get in front of all of these people, and then y'all killed it. Y'all have your music together.
But even como, like, I don't know if you've been to the Noches de Cumbia over there on Lawndale.
Was it Compound at the end?
Compound at the end, bro. Like,
Noche Cumbendera.
Noche Cumbendera.
Shout out to Joey Molina. Shout out to
The-
Santo Sounds.
I'm saying like the second
to-
time that we were playing, like the first time was like maybe like people were barely like they were finding out about us, but the second time they would play there, like man, dude, it was like packed. Like, it was so packed that it was hot.
Dude, all right, so I was looking for a guest for the second episode, and I was talking to y'all because I had the show coming up. There's another guy, I don't know if you remember, it's a band called Septic.
I think I heard of them.
Yeah, and so the thing is, a friend of mine, Mosh Pit, his girlfriend, okay, we were at that show at the Noche Cumbianera, and so his girlfriend goes, oh, my cousin, he's in a band, and, I met him there. So I was up there with my girlfriend, dude, it was so packed that we're dancing, and you're moving, all of a sudden you have nowhere to move, and you're just like dancing like this, like it's just so packed. My friend was laughing because he was up at the top looking down, and El Turco, and Chega is like, oh, you're just dancing.
Shout out to Chega.
El Turco Sonidero.
El Turco Sonidero.
Yeah.
Desde México, desde Nesa.
And it's so wild too because that's where I met this guy, and then he was today, we could have recorded together, and that's where I met him at one of your shows. It's freaking crazy, man, the way that things work out sometimes.
Man.
The synchronicity.
Is it okay if I go to the restroom?
Yeah. Can we pause on it?
Ya cantó mi rima, la tierra quemada está. Nacho con su trasplante, la lluvia cero para la ciudad. Sigue la cañón del viento, la caballera va pintando bien. Trabaja en ese pensamiento, por la mujer llena su cadena.
Pretty good, right?
That's it. That's all you need is the instruments.
All you need is a guacharaca, accordion, and
And a
tambor.
drum, man. There you go. The indigenous, the African, and the European.
Yes,
You know,
sir.
and are we rolling? Yeah, we're rolling. So, but it's the same thing with like rock and roll music. When you look at rock and roll music, when you look at like even some of the like early country music, there was really no drums like that, Or if you look at mariachi music, there's really no drums. All the rhythms in the guitars, right? But then with like rock and roll or even with the blues, now you have the drum that comes in there, And so then you have that.
beat, like,
Yeah,
the bass.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah.
So what makes cumbia is the boom. Es el llamador,
Yeah.
That's what makes cumbia. El llamador, y luego el llamador is basically like the male counter side of the percussion. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Then you have the alegre, which is what this drum is. It's an alegre. And it does the improvisation in the percussion. You know what I mean? So it's like the female. You know what I mean? So and then you have the gaitas, you have the macho and hembra, and the macho does the bass. It follows the melody that the female is doing.
So on the accordion, you're talking about the accordion, right? The bass.
Even in the accordion.
No, it's 'cause
Right.
on the accordion it has like on the both sides, right?
Right.
So de este lado on the
So
right
the
side,
accordion is
is the
mimicking
melody.
the
A piano.
It's mimicking the gaita.
the
The
gaitas.
accordion
like
is
both of
mimicking
them.
the gaitas.
So-
It's basically instead of having two people play two gaitas, you have the accordion playing both things.
So on the
Okay.
right side, is the melody, and on the left side is the bass.
So it's just like a piano. On the piano, you
Yeah,
have your
yeah,
bass on
pretty
this
much.
side, and you have
Yeah,
the melody on this
Pretty
side.
much, yeah.
Yeah, it's just on this. Yeah,
But also, there's a lot of people that don't play the bass.
they only
Like
play the melody and the rhythm.
Yeah, they don't like.
Well, when it comes to certain, I don't know.
There's levels.
When it comes to certain genres.
Nah, but also if you look at the genres like back then, like you want to say, you look at the alegres that they run, like norteño, and they play corridos.
They play with bass.
They play with the bass.
Yes.
Like
Right.
they even play redobas with the bass
Yeah.
and boleros with bass.
It's just like any other music and any other genre. It's like look at the popular corridos tumbados that we have now.
Hey, I haven't seen.
They trace back to what it used to be.
I haven't seen some corridos así de alterados. There's this guy. I forgot his name, but he plays with Los Alegres de Terán. No, Los Alegres del Barranco. Like he plays the piano accordion, but he also he plays his corridos, but with the basses. I'm like, damn, dude, respect. Like not everybody plays like the basses. Like not everybody gives the time to actually like learn both sides of the brain. Like it's hard. It's hard, but with practice, you'll get it.
Yeah.
Right. No, it's like I've heard from like people that I've learned from in my past jobs and all that. When you learn something, you want to learn it to the point that you forgot that you learned it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Right.
So it's like saying that it becomes second nature.
Yes.
That's what it is. When you make something that you like doing into a second nature, it's like, man, the sky's the limit.
It's like,
and you're just having fun at that point.
Yeah, it's like me. Like sometimes, like you saw me play accordion right now, and I play with both hands, and sometimes it's funny because I'll play the melody and cause you sometimes you get tired. You get tired from playing the basses with your muscles get tired. You're not used to it sometimes, and sometimes I stop playing them and I mess up. I mess up on the melody. On the melody part, I'm like, oh, I gotta keep on playing it.
Right. Yeah.
It happens. Yeah. Well, shit. You be playing fucking 15-minute songs and shit. So fucking be playing he plays like we call them mosaicos,
But those are like close to the end. We're about to finish, and it's like.
Your hands start to stiffen up, and your fingers are moving, so you're just moving your whole hand.
And also too, you're moving in and out.
Oh yeah, you're doing that too.
Your shoulder gets tired. People don't, and they think it's easy.
See, okay, so going back to the history of cumbia. Okay, so after that, and then the music moves to Mexico. Right, it moves to Mexico City. It moves to Monterrey.
It actually moved. It moved to Mexico City. Lo de Mexico City went to Houston and New York, but someone, we don't know who exactly, but someone took it to Monterrey, and then that's where, in the 80s,
it blew up.
Yeah, it blew up.
I'd like to say that Houston is a low key cumbia cumbia embassy. Cumbia embassy.
Yeah, and in the 80s.
Low key. Yeah. And people don't know that shit. And a shout out to Emmanuel Arambula. He's a big friend of mine. He's a local performance artist. Well, he's actually from the Valley, but he resides here sometimes, and it's pretty cool. Actually, his grandpa he had his own cumbia band here back in the 70s and 80s. And they have he has shown me 45s he's shown me records and recordings of his grandpa playing cumbias here in Houston back in those times. So
wow,
cumbia was here.
The 80s, yeah.
Oh yeah. And before that, you had a big old craze with the cha-cha-cha and the calypso music here in U.S. Latin music, Latin hot conga music and all that. Like I Love Lucy. Yeah. Cuban music,
and dancing.
That's right.
The halls and everything.
So it's already there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just like cumbia is basically, it's another rhythm that people are gonna like.
And then, so also like some of the older Latin music, you could say like with tango or whatever, it was more proper. But
orchestra music, right?
Orchestra music, exactly. But this is like music from the people, This is music from. And then another thing that's really interesting about this type of music is that it does have that improvisational aspect to it. You have the beginning of it, how the song goes, and then you go off into solos, and then the people are dancing, and you're feeling it, and you're feeling the audience, and then, you know, and so then there's that aspect too where it's like a freestyle, where and then that music then ties in to hip hop at some point, you know, where it starts to connect with the urban, the
urban.
youth, yes,
Correct.
with the streets,
Yes.
you know, and then the people are listening to hip hop, and then in hip hop it's the same thing. It's a beat. And then you freestyle on it,
Right.
and here you have a beat, and you're freestyling on it, you know, and so it has that connection to the street, to the urban, to the youth, and so, and then it connects with it on that way, and it keeps evolving, you know, and it keeps evolving, and then it got to the cumbias rebajadas, which is really like screw down, basically slow down cumbias, you know.
Cumbia Rebajadas was actually, you know, a lot of people say, oh, it was in Mexico City, it was in Monterrey. Technically, Cumbia Rebajadas started in Mexico City, you know.
Do you have one that we could play, like one that you could think of?
Man.
Which one?
I mean, since I'm from Monterrey, I would say maybe Tumba la Mata.
Tumba la mata.
Tumba la Mata.
¿Qué la canta, güey? No, pero tumba la mata rebajada.
Tumba la mata.
Yeah, that's, shout out to Santo Sounds. I know he has this vinyl.
Yeah, that's the only person I know here that has that.
Right, yeah, man.
So this is like a legendary vinyl.
Yeah, they're from Monterrey.
Okay.
It's a band from
They're
Monterrey.
like hard to find. Like,
Okay, and like what year was this, more or less?
like 80s.
Yeah,
80s.
80s.
So they were playing rebajadas?
Early 80s.
What? They were playing cumbia rebajadas back in the
No. This was rebajada. The rebajada was made
That rebajado, I heard rebajado was made like in the 86.
close to the 90s.
Okay, yeah. I hear it. And does it say what year it came out right there?
Makes you like,
See, I always thought that Cumbia Rebajada came out like later in the 90s. I didn't know it went way back like that.
actually, well, my girlfriend, she's from Monterrey, and she actually has this project which is based on sonideros. First on sonideros de la Independencia in Monterrey, but now she has like moved onto sonideros de Mexico, del Estado de Mexico, and she knows like a lot of people, and then
So Sonideros basically means DJ.
yeah, sonideros
So
means
sonido
people
is
that
sound-
play on vinyl, and then they have like these big systems, and
Yeah.
they make people dance. It's like a DJ, you
It's
know.
a
you make
DJ, yeah.
people
It's an
dance.
MC or something like that. Yeah.
So-
they're-
So,
and then, but also it's similar to MCs because they'll be playing the music and they'll have the microphone.
yeah, they give
CCC,
yeah, they
shout
give
out. Yeah.
I wanna give a big shout out to my girl, Castellari Sanchez. Like man, dude, she's so this year she's taking out a book, and she's taking out this documentary about cumbia. Whenever it comes out, I'm gonna let y'all know. But
Dude, if she's doing a research paper on sonideros and she's doing a book on cumbia, I think you found the right person.
yeah. So
She always loves it as much as you
she's been
do.
with this project for at least 10 years, and
Wow.
like dude, like through her I met like these people, like so much connections to buy these, and like so many big like important people. Like
Carlos is really going down the rabbit hole when it comes to vinyl, you know, cumbia on vinyl right now.
Yeah.
He's
So,
like, he's you know, like elbow deep in that shit.
like right now, like Ramiro, like the other guy that we're
Yeah.
talking about, like he's like, man, bro, you're living my dream at that age. Like, and I'm like, it wasn't even a dream. It was just like it just happened out of nowhere, you know. And
And you fit in perfectly with these guys
Yeah.
too. And you know,
I mean, it's taken me, you know, close to 10 years
So, like-
to have the collection that I have. And this guy,
it's just like we already have like 3 years now. I'm already having like
he's
vinyl.
already like
the
he's
young
already up
grasshopper
there.
learning,
Yeah,
about
but
to be the master.
through her, I found out, like, through the people that I meet through her. There's this guy named David. He's like making he's making sonideros be like un oficio, like actually be like a job, you know, like be like a certified job in Mexico. And he's like going through all this paperwork. He has like, we went to his like his little place, and he has like this vinyl collection, like 7,000 vinyls, and his sonidero name is Sonido Retro. Like,
Shout out to
Sonido Retro allá en Ixtapalapa.
Oh.
And yeah, so he was telling us about like not only him but other people like they're like associated together, that they found out about, like, they don't know who exactly made it. Que they started like rebajando or slowing down like the turntables.
It's gonna be another one of those legends. Like, who figured out the accordion?
They never
slowed it down.
What I know about it is that they did it. They started doing it in Mexico DF because some songs were just way too fast.
Yeah.
To dance.
Yeah.
You know, like for them to dance, they were just too fast. So they started slowing them down, and it was just to the certain, you know,
To the right
speed.
tempo.
It was at the right speed.
Yeah,
for
it
them
was.
to
They're
dance.
like so. It's just some. Yeah, they're like so much faster than
so
that.
like,
You know,
like early
Yeah.
sonidero music was actually like, it was cumbias, but it wasn't really like cumbias. It was more like Peruvian music from Ecuador, you know.
Venezuela.
Yeah,
Well, that's the thing. Cumbias are all over the world.
It's not, only Colombia.
No. That's one genre.
I mean, Colombia is the roots.
Yeah,
Colombia is
the
the roots of it.
Right.
But like,
But
you
then
know,
it spreads out. And
you
then it
know,
starts to evolve.
Peru, Ecuador,
Argentina,
Bolivia, they're all
yeah,
like,
Bolivia.
man, I mean, you know, there's so many other like rare cuts of sonidero music, like Los Ecos, you know, I believe they're from Peru, and man, there's so much music like that they started with, and that was like the beginnings of sonidero.
You do DJ sets at certain places sometimes.
Yeah, every now and then I go to Laylo. Shout out to
Yeah,
Laylo.
Laylo. There you go.
Laylo and David.
So anybody who's tuning into the podcast, whenever P-Waz, he's DJing, he's going to have those deep cuts, deep knowledge. He has these records of all this stuff that you're not going to hear anywhere else.
Nope.
I'll find a way.
You probably won't even hear it in Colombia, man.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but
It's like the lost land.
the only thing you can say is that I'll make you dance one way or another.
He has those albums that are like those hard to find Pokemon cards or something that nobody else has.
I've been having like the vinyls that are like real popular in Monterrey.
And I mean, there's some vinyls that I've been wanting to get for a long time.
And then but he has like the lost ones, like
Yeah, but he's been at it for a long time too.
I've been hearing his stuff. I'm like, bro, what is that?
Yeah. Well, that's part of being a DJ too, is to get those albums as part of it, you know. And it's like, well, if you hire this guy, you're gonna hear that song that you're not gonna hear nowhere else and stuff. And
I wanna say that definitely like around the time that I was already turning into a senior in high school, that's when the internet took over and YouTube. And if it wasn't for that, man, I mean, that really helped me out, man. Like to find out like other names, and because like whenever we were listening to this music, all we had was the songs. We didn't know how these people looked. We didn't know what they were wearing.
mm-hmm.
It was just like, damn, like this music's badass. But
Dude, the first time I got on Spotify, and I was like, oh my God. Like,
Yeah.
you look up an artist and they have all of their albums, every single song on every album.
yeah.
It's like, because before,
Wow.
yeah, you know.
and it's thanks to all these people that have all these archives, basically,
Yeah.
documents and vinyls. I mean, that's amazing. Like, I don't want to say that I want to say that I love listening to the new music. It's great, but my inspiration and my influence is always gonna be
the roots.
the roots. Yeah.
And that's one thing that I love about you guys, and that I've known. I remember a long time ago we were having a conversation, and I brought out something about Villeras, and he was like, this face he made, he's like, like he wanted, like he got sick. He's like, no, like.
I mean, I love it. Yeah.
I mean, I know you do, but the thing about it is that this music, it's like you're true to it. You're true to this music, and that's one thing that I love about you guys, is that you're keeping it alive, and you're doing it the way it's supposed to be done, and you can feel it when you go to one of your shows. It's like, man, it's like you're in Colombia or something, man. You know.
Hey, and it's funny that we've actually played like come on Naxarat or the other places that we went to go play, and then there's Colombian people and they're like they come up to the stage and like, hey, who's Colombian? Oh yeah, you're from Colombia? Like, nah, bro. Like
Greens Point.
Here, they're from Monterrey, Greens Point. They're like, no, y'all saw like straight up Colombian and stuff. We're like, man, thank you, like bro, like I feel
You
like,
got the stamp of approval.
yeah, whenever they even there's one of my friends who lives by Highway 6. Shout out to I
forgot his name. Whatever his name is. You'll remember later.
I remember right now.
Yeah.
Whatever. But he always has parrandas. Chaco. Salió pa Chaco. Chaco
But he's out on Highway 6.
He's Highway 6 in I-10.
And he's holding it down.
I don't know how, but he knows a bunch of like Colombian people, and every year he has
A Chaco Fest.
like his birthday party, right? It's on February, and we call it Chaco Fest because it's like he has like this big house, he has pool, like
Big
it's like
party.
a little mansion.
I mean,
A
it's
parranda.
Yeah.
He invited us last time and
he owns like 30 accordions.
Oh man.
He has every instrument. He has the speakers. He has everything. He just like invites all the musicians that he knows and all his friends. We're all his friends, and
there's this deep
like,
love.
yeah, and it's like it's funny
music.
because it's like this. It's mostly Colombian people, and then we show up like Son Bayou and my friend Danny and everybody. Like we all show up, and at first, the first time that I ever met him, like. Well, the second time that I met him, he invited me to his house. And it was like these 3 Colombian guys playing, and I show up. And my other friend shows up, and then they were like, hey, play. And I'm like, no. I'm like, no. And then they're like, yeah, play. But they play like straight up vallenato. Like, and I play more sabanero, and I'm like, no. I felt like intimidated. But then I started playing, and then, like, for the people that know me, like, once you start talking to me, I'll talk to you like I'm like your friend forever, right? So I started playing, and I started feeling comfortable, and they started following me, and hey, play this one and play that one, and I'm like, oh, they know about Sabanero, right? So I'm playing, I felt comfortable, and they're like, and then the other guy, he's actually a surgeon, I forgot his name, but he's a Colombian guy. He plays nice, and he was like, where did you come from? And I'm like, well, I've been around, you know, like, I just know, it's the second time I ever talk to Chaco, but, man, dude, like, one day, hopefully, you go to one of his parties.
Invite me, man, let's up, like, February, I'm down,
like,
let's do it.
It's like an invite
Chaco
only,
Fest.
but, man, he's like,
yeah.
Like, he went
The
to
real
it.
deal.
I didn't go because I was in Monterrey, but he went, like,
yeah.
but I've seen videos, and I've seen how it gets, like, it's like,
It goes down.
it's one of those parties that, it's like a parranda party. You play whatever you
So
play. Everybody plays.
We call a parranda whenever, you know, it's a bunch of musicians getting together on a...
It's like whenever you call, like, norteño, like a fara, like norteño y acordeón and bajo sexto.
Right.
But in us,
Colombia,
in cumbia, in Colombia, it's like, mainly a parranda is accordion, caja, like the drum, y la guacharaca.
That's it.
But more there, a parranda there is like a little party between us, and we have all the instruments. And
Everybody switching up.
yeah, we're like, hey, I'll play the accordion, I'll play the bass.
Everybody takes turns.
Yeah,
everybody.
and that Chaco Fest, it's like, whatever time it starts to the sun rises, bro, like.
And that's the thing, it's party music.
It's like the
know?
best party of the year, pretty much, to go. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, man.
They need to expand it and make it to where everybody can go.
if anybody wants to do anything public like that, I would suggest, I mean, if you guys don't mind driving to Austin, I would suggest going to the Wepa Fest.
When is that?
It's actually coming up on September 23rd. It's at Danny's backyard. And there's going to be bands from Colombia that play, you know, roots, cumbia, gaita. We're going. I'm pretty sure this guy's
Yeah.
gonna go too. And I mean, you know, it's awesome. Like, the
What's up?
people
I'm
are
down.
great.
Let's do it. I'm
Yeah,
down.
and that's where I actually, you know, it's the third or the fourth festival they do there. It's always every year. Usually it's around July, but this time they did it in September because of the heat. But man, I mean, those festivals are awesome. That's where I got to meet Jason Landero, which is Andres Landero's grandson.
Grandson. Yeah, that time that we met him, 2018. It was funny because my brother, he's real big into like choppers and stuff. So I went to Austin because of my brother. He invited me to the
Bike rally?
like to the bike rally over there, and I had no idea. I just went, and then they called me the next day, like on a Saturday or Sunday. They're like, hey, what are you doing? Come to Austin. I'm like, I'm already here. And then they're like, there's this whip-off fest going on. I had no idea about it, and they're like, I'm like, all right. So I told, like, my brother went out with his friends, and I went with them. And then that's where I met Jason.
Next thing you know, this guy was holding Andres Landero's accordion.
Yeah, like, Jason was playing like his grandfather's accordion. And I'm like, I was kind of like drunk already. Like, hey, Jason, hey, let me play the accordion. And he's like, yeah, sure. And I'm like,
my.
dude, I started playing. I almost wanted to cry, man. I was
It's like an emotional.
like, well, I could die already.
You feel his DNA going into your fingers. And
Yeah,
stuff.
I remember Ramiro, like the other guy from Bayou, he played it too. And then, bro, it was like a, like 10 minutes.
Jimi Hendrix's guitar. Or
Yeah,
something,
yeah. I was like,
It's
bro.
like, oh man, what the hell? He
I
plays
still
this.
remember like how it looked, how it sounded, like, bro.
Yeah, unforgettable. I'll never forget that.
That day that he played there, it was actually Gaitero de San Jacinto playing there as well. And the next day, Kiko, which is the founder of the Wepa Fest, Kiko Villamizar, great artist. If anybody wants to look him up, he plays cumbia as well.
What's his name?
Kiko Villamizar.
Kiko Villamizar.
Yeah, so he had like a little parranda the next day.
I had to go back to Houston.
With Jason Landero and Gaitero de San Jacinto, and you know, so you know we're there, and I get there because it's actually not in Austin. It's like 40 minutes away from Austin, and it's in a little like a little ranch by the river. It's like a little property, and I mean it's beautiful, you know. And we get there, and Jason Landero and you know Gaitero de San Jacinto get there, and I have they didn't have no drums, and I had my congas and my guacharaca and all that. So they used my instruments, which was pretty cool. And maybe I think right before they were about to start setting up, I played like maybe Santa Lucia in the accordion, and then Jason Landero grabbed my accordion and he played a paseo, and I grabbed the caja, and it was pretty cool. But I definitely felt intimidated by these people, man.
No,
Yeah, you feel like they're watching you, and you're like, I hope,
Because they're
yeah,
masters.
Yeah,
No,
they've seen some amazing people.
They've
Yeah.
learned
No,
from
but
the roots.
Yeah.
I
The
feel
masters,
like we felt like that day that I went to Chaco's house, like the guy that was singing was like one of the main singers for Aniceto Molina, and then there was like these other people like they played badass. So I felt the same way as you. I was like, no, I don't want to play because I'm scared. Like, but then you start talking to them, and they're all like real humble people, and then yeah, man, play whatever you want, and then. Nah, I ain't gonna lie. I've met people that they're like kind of like stuck up, like no,
Gatekeepers.
no, you didn't play the song right, blah blah blah. But
That's the right word.
But whenever you meet like them, like the San Jacinto, like the Gaitero de San Jacinto, and I met bro. Whenever I met Jason, man, he was like one of us, man. He was like,
Jason was the best guy, and
Yeah,
I was
like-
actually trying to get him to come to Houston recently, but it wasn't able to go through. It was kind of sudden, but hopefully we can have Jason Landero come to
Yeah,
Houston.
Yeah,
Jason-
man, have a
Jason,
Houston
like-
Wepa Fest.
Yeah,
he's cool, like
he
he's
is
like humble, man.
this
Yeah.
guy.
Like, he didn't even know us. He was like, hey, whenever y'all want, y'all could come to my house. I'm like, wow, I'm going any day. Like,
But see, that's another thing too, is that y'all been working at it. You love it. you're putting in this time, and then now you're rubbing elbows with these people who are, and that's great because even though you get intimidated, it challenges you.
Yeah,
and you're learning from the best, and then it just brings you up. You know, and then that's the thing too, is like whenever you get around those people, it elevates you. And you know, that's really kind of the goal. Is it's not always to be around the people that are like, oh, you're awesome. It's to get around the people that you're like, wow, you know, and then you look up to.
Like, to the people that you looked up, like,
and when you get the respect of people that you look up to, man, that's just the best feeling.
Yeah, you're like, hey.
Yeah, right, because that's, you know, that's what you've been kind of working for all that time.
That's right.
Yeah. Man, y'all have this show coming up September 16th, Carbach Brewery. Y'all have a social media?
Yes, so if you guys can look us up on Instagram. We're by Bayou.
Somebody, I'll put the links on the description on this video, so they could click, they could follow, and then y'all could let people know when your next upcoming shows are coming up.
Yes.
Whenever the Wepa Fest is, in case they're interested in that.
I'm just on. I have Instagram, but I don't really use it, but I'm on Facebook, Alex Olvera.
Okay, Alex Olvera.
Yeah, I'm as Juan Torres, you know.
Juan Torres, El Pibas Maribas.
El Pibas Maribas.
El
I'm like Alex Olvera, and then whenever we have like events, I'll post them like right now. He's like Carbach Brewery. I'm like, I'll put it right now, and then a couple like days before, like, hey, make sure y'all come out.
Yeah, make sure you come out. Hey, that's the great thing about going to see Zone Bayou. It's going to be a party. There's going to be dancing. Right. Anytime there's cumbia music, there's going to be girls. And then anytime there's girls, there's going to be guys.
Hey, if you're single, make sure you come out. You're going to get something.
I'll hook you up.
Oh, hey, I got you. Hey, come. Just say the word Calvillo and I got you.
Chill. No, it's gonna be awesome, man. And you guys make sure to come on out and check out Easy Band. They're awesome too.
Easy Band.
They play cumbia norteñas, you know, Tex-Mex and all that stuff. And we're gonna come out with the cumbia colombiana. So it's gonna be a great mixture of different cumbias. Everybody's gonna get to dance. So it's gonna be awesome.
I'm gonna be out there for sure, man. I live right down the street, and it's awesome, man. Yeah, we're definitely gonna have to check that out. I'm gonna come out there with my people and stuff, and yeah, man, just keep everybody updated with what's going on. And man, this is really great that we got together. I didn't know that it had been 10 years since that show at Fitzgerald's, man, because I remember that was wild, and then like all these things that have happened, all of these, and you know, I really love that you guys have actually kind of helped popularize the music for other people. You know, it's not just, you know, the Mexican crowd or whatever. It's a music for anybody.
That's right.
And then right now, like, that's what I like about right now. Like back then, 10 years ago, like, I didn't have my personal band like them, but I used to play around with people, but it was just for like the
La Raza.
The Mexicanos, you know, or La Raza, and it was just like in the same places all the time. But now it's like Axelrad, the brewery. We played with them Roots in Galveston, remember?
Oh yeah,
the what?
Izquierda Fest.
Which
one? Shout out to Robert Kuhn.
And then we went to that brewery, man, the Galveston brewery, que fuimos ahí como a improvisar con
ellos. That's right, yeah, man. And shout out to Luis Morales from
and then we be going like to these different places, and
that's my boy. That's
what I like about now. That it's not only the raza, it's acá con
for the people.
Acá como los güeros, like everybody, like
it just becomes part of the CD's music, and that's what we want.
Yeah, and that's what I like. Like not only la raza, but everybody. Like.
And as much as y'all love the music, to be able to share it with other people, and they could tell that you love it, so they love it too. And like I told you, man, I was watching these people, like they were like legit dancing, and I was like, wow, you know. But see, I grew up loving this stuff too, and so to watch them and to know like, wow, they love it too. I mean, it's just the same thing as, you know, like Bob Marley. Even though they're making music, we love it too.
Like I was living into country, but not like country, like that's it.
Yeah.
Like that shit hits.
Ambassadors for the music.
Reggae, like whenever I started, like I remember he invited me to St. Arnold's. Like that was the first time I ever saw them Roots.
Yeah.
And that's the Louis.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, come out. come out to St. Arnold or estar them roots. I'm like, I don't even know, right?
You never listen to reggae before that?
I mean, I like reggae, but I never listened to a local.
Okay.
You know?
So that's pretty hard, right? Because there's not really a lot of like local reggae bands other than Indigenous, and I believe there's another one called King Baby, but them roots, man.
Them roots number one.
Yeah,
bro, like I heard them that day. I'm like, damn, who's that? Like, oh, well, actually, I think Lewis came to one of our little rehearsal. It was gonna be a rehearsal, but we ended up just like
turning up to a party,
chatting and partying. But he came with his guitar, and I was like, oh, it's that guy. It's that guy that came to that. No, I saw him play. I'm like, man, dude, like.
They're really tight. Them roots is really tight.
Like, so I started following them around. Like, remember he would be like, "Hey, they're gonna play over here. I'm gonna go." Well, and I started going by myself. Like, hey. I would tell my friends like, "Hey, come look at this band."
They're really good.
Next thing you know, we're playing shows together.
Yeah, we're playing shows together.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, we played with them roots at
other.
LaGrange like a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I hadn't seen them in a while either. God, they're so tight now. You know, just the harmonies and all
Kevin,
that.
Allison,
and LaGrange is like this perfect spot on a Sunday. You got nothing to do.
Yeah.
You don't go to church.
you ain't got no job.
Honestly, it's a really good spot to go to, especially now. It's gonna start
and
getting
then
cooler.
after that, you go to Excellent.
Yeah, just make it. You know what I'm saying? Just keep it going. You know what I'm saying? And whatever you gotta do. You know, it's Sunday fun day, right?
Yep. So make sure y'all follow these guys. They're gonna keep you updated. It was badass hanging out with y'all.
I hope you can invite us again, man.
We could talk for hours.
You know, we bring another member.
yeah. Well, that's the thing. Y'all brought some records and some instruments. We're like, but we can get around to that next time too, man. Maybe spin some stuff and show some stuff. And next time y'all have like an event, whatever y'all got going on. I know y'all got some rough tracks that y'all are working on.
That's right.
Man, when y'all get that stuff done and completed, come back on.
So the first song that you guys heard at the beginning of the podcast, that was our unreleased music that we're working on right now. It's gonna be 7 songs in total, and we're thinking about doing at least 4 of those in a 245 RPM vinyl set.
Damn.
So that'll be great, you know, and that's our dream, you know, that's our dream come true to have our music on vinyl. So,
yeah, just like the legends.
So we promised that. We promised that at least by the end of the year we'll have something for you guys. So just keep a lookout and follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and just keep on dancing the cumbia. I appreciate that. I appreciate all the love that you guys have for us.
Yeah. Also, shout out to On It Productions and On It podcast, brewing podcast for hosting. You know, this badass spot right here. My brother, he's producing and holding it down. And you know, that's what we're trying to do is put a spotlight on some of the local artists and get it out there, promote some of these shows. And you know, people can listen to you, but they can also learn a little bit about, you know, what are we listening to? What is this? You know, and kind of, and man, you guys are the best people to ask. You know, so yeah, that's it. Better than Wikipedia. Just listen to the podcast.
Listen to it.
PYpedia right there. PYpedia. Awesome guys, man. Thank you for being on. Love you guys. I'm gonna be out there at the show. Wepa. Thank you guys. Bye.
padrino tuvo el llamador.